We are live here at the CRPD Dr. Sajatal inaugural lecture. It's about to start shortly. I'll show you the people that are here.
If not for the food is wahala. And the food is the year food. And it is too expensive.
Let me just say before, I think Flex is started.
We have started here. That's the guest lecture.
Mama, with the kettle. Come to just
Oh, that's right. We'll be starting shortly. The inaugural Dr. Sajatal inaugural lecture by CRPD. More people are coming.
So those who come late can sit at the back. No, I was here. I said my time.
Gambians have decided. The first speech.
A lot of activity. It's the guest lecture on Seth Matijau, CRPD Executive Director, and Dr. Satang Nabane. The guest lecture for today. Stay tuned, we'll be starting shortly.
Hello. No, not at all. Hello, how are we? It's Gambian tradition that we begin every event with prayer. So shall we pray? Those of us who don't believe in anything, just close your eyes and wish all of us well. Those of us who believe in Islam, you know what to do. Christians among us, you know what to do, and we all say amen at the end of it. So we'll give a minute. I didn't hear amen. Oh, and amen. Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you for coming. We are very excited to be here today to an event that promises to be brilliant, yet we will not hear any kora, tama, or any music instrument. Usually when we gather for festivities, right? All the drumming, etc. But we're starting new events of this nature that promotes education, intellectual discourse, and brings all of us together to path a way forward for all of us. So to begin today's ceremonies, I'd like to welcome the Tal family, and I'll be an adopted Tal for the day. It pays to be Tal. So we have intellectual Hafizes here, but we'll begin with the Tal family. Salu Tal, Senior. You understand there is another Salu Tal that claims the Sal, but he borrowed it. So we'll say hello to Salu Tal Senior. 1.0, I'm made to understand. And then the photocopied Salu Tal 2.0. And Sehu Omar Tal, Auntie Janke, and all the Tal family here present. CRPD takes great pride in having you in attendance today. And CRPD and everybody that's gathered here today will say welcome to this inaugural lecture, the Dr. Sajat Tal inaugural annual lecture. We are hoping it will be an annual event starting today and we will continue forever. And yes, you are right. I was going to go starting from the dads and then go to the kotos and then come to the juniors, the younger ones. So Olimata Tal, hi, and Tal, and all the other Tals in my category, the Tals in my category, Mamar Tal, and the Harona Tal, and Mayai. I'm not sure you are a Tal or a Hushaimi. You're a Tal? Did you sell it with the $4 C 25 bottles? It's so easy to change names these days. Janeta transfer. The Dr. Sajat Tal annual lecture honors the legacy of the late distinguished academic and thought leader, Dr. Aliu Badara Sajat Tal. The lecture provides a platform for intellectual discourse and reflection on democracy and development in the Gambia. As an initiative of the Center for Research and Policy Development, the lecture seeks to inspire individuals and communities to actively participate in the future of the Gambia through informed dialogue and civic engagement, ideals championed by the late Dr. Tal during his lifetime. About the speakers, the lecture features prominent scholars, researchers, activists, and development practitioners working in the areas that revolve around democracy and development in the Gambia. These speakers are invited to share their knowledge and experience in order to foster an informed and active citizenry. To begin today's activities, we'd like to go to the person who is the co-founder and executive director of CRPD, and Said Mati Jao, who is also one of Dr. Tal's students. Said Mati, do the welcome. I don't want to say all of it, so you'll have something to say.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, Haruna. I'm very emotional today that I'm standing here before you. And as I'm standing here, I'm seeing a lot of my colleagues, students that were taught by Dr. Sajata. I've seen people that I haven't seen for quite a long time. today they are here because we all shared one memory, the memory of Dr. Sajata. And as a student, I wouldn't want to start without saying a very big thank you to Auntie Yetu. You know, usually as students, for me, I'm a Taliban. You know, I was telling Oli that I'm a Taliban. And not only that I'm a Taliban for Dr. Sajja, but I'm a Taliban because this is the way that I was raised within the family. That's how I started. And so during the time that we spent with Doctor, each time we were at the house, and all the time Auntie Yetu was there. Doctor was our professor in the classroom, but Dr. Auntie Yetu was our auntie at the home. And whenever we visited, it was always great to see. And I've always seen also, you know, my first boss. You know, I always say that Dr. Satang is my first boss, but also my first professional boss is Dr. John Jata. He's here at UTG. I am, you know, trying to say all this because these are people that mentored, but also these are people that also kind of guided us in the way we do. But also we have activist uncles and also activist aunties. And here I see Mari Jobate, Sir Mari. I've also seen Uncle Njundu. I call him San Njundu as well. You know, these are people basically that raised us. My generation, the generation of Satang, the Ngones, all of us as young activists here. And I see Salah and all of them, they are here. So in this room today, there is a whole generation. The generation of Dr. Sajata and the family, the generation before us, our generation, and also the generation that we aim to inspire. And I think Haruna started well by saying that this lecture is for no reason but to honor the legacy of Dr. Sajata. My first Rabaraba, today I have with CRPD, my first Rabaraba, I keep telling people, Rabaraba is basically hustle. My first hustle in the consultancy work in academic research was given to me by Dr. Sajata. You know, that's when I learned how to design questionnaires. That's when I learned how to do quite a number of stuff. And this first consultancy was given to us then by Madi Jobate here, sitting right here. And we were doing this research at the height of dictatorship. And that's why it was not a surprise when I got arrested in 2014, because I was also doing research. After 2014, 2016, I still do research, because this was the destiny that Doctor saw in me. And whenever he was living, traveling, going everywhere, at a very early age, he was mentoring me to get into this. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you to this inaugural lecture. And as Haruna said, this will not be the first, this will be the first, but it will not be the last. Because even if not for us, there are other students that continue to live and cherish the moment that they spend with Dr. Sajata. But while also Dr. Sajata was here with us, we also had professors that were in the diaspora. People that we read their books, read their materials, taught to us, studying political science under dictatorship is the most difficult study that anyone can undertake. Because anything you say, use political science, and we had professors like Professor Abdullah Sen. I never met him before, but we were reading his book, APRC, you know, the paradox of third wave democratization. These books were counterband, but it were, you know, smuggled in and people were reading that. And we also had professors like Dr. Ismail Assise, you know, Dr. Professor Gomez, who mentored and cherished us. I mean, making this a UTG stuff because that's where it all started from. And so this morning I was on Facebook and I was reading and I saw our big brother, Vicente Gomez. He said that gratitude is an attitude. And he was thanking the very important work that Raymond T. Jiba did in this country. And I think if I look at here from Haruna, from many of us, we have one way or the other passed through Lender Hand Society. And Lender Hand Society today, Jaha, everybody, people that I'm looking at, they're looking at me and I'm looking at them. And so we need to give gratitude to people that have paved the way for all of us. And they are a generation of academics, Professor Moudou Sala is here, and I'm very happy that he is back here. You know, this is a generation of academics that have paved the way for us. I'm still a baby, but I'm so happy, you know, that my sister and first time boss also, Dr. Sadang Nabane, is also giving this inaugural lecture. Me and Sadang, we met at the Voice of the Young. Voice of the Young. If you remember, Voice of the Young is under Child Protection Alliance, and that's where Nyundu and others, Bakari Bajis and others were. You know, they were the core group, and we were the rest of society that were brought to join them. But it was a very wonderful opportunity because there, you know, we developed and grow together as sisters, as sister and brother. But also Satang, as young as she was inspiring her own generation. You know, I remember at one point, and this is usually the most boring joke I keep giving, because there was one of our lecturers, I forgot his name, you know, but we used to make fun of him. And in grade 11, 12, he one day came to the class and asked us how many of us wanted to be like Satang Nabane. And you can guess at that time what our response was. We all cheapened. Huh? I cannot cheapen now, you know, but right now, how many of us want to be like Satang Nabane? I will be the first one to raise my hand. Because this is what Satang, this is why we picked Satang to do this inaugural lecture. Because as far as I can remember back in high school, Satang has always wanted to be an academic professor. And today we are not saying that she's the most educated, well, I can happily say that she's the most educated Gambian woman. Would I be wrong to say that with double doctorate? I wouldn't be wrong to say that. But that's not the intention. The intention is that Satang is an inspiration to me, and now I see that she is ganging up with Professor Abdullah Hussein, Dr. Ibrahim Assisi, and everybody else that I must do a PhD. They are planning to ship me away. But, you know, I'm conflicted because of one of the lessons that we were taught by Dr. Sayata. And this lesson was Basa before Babylon. That wherever we are, whatever we do, we must remember home. And before we leave for Babylon, who's going to develop this country for us? And that's why I'm looking for a PhD that will meet me here, so that I can be here to prioritize Base, so that we can continue to ensure the voice of people are always heard. And that's what CRPD wants to do, and this is what we stand for. And we want to also use this opportunity to welcome you, to thank our partners for supporting us for this activity. And we are also very glad that Dr. Satang Nabane is here. I also want to use this opportunity also to recognize Rafael from the EU. But lastly, Haruna, I know my time is over, but...
You're no longer welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Because I'm not sure I will get the chance to say this. And my professor, Dr. Pierre Gomez, just entered the room. And Prof was, you know, Dr. Sayatel has a crew of people, of inspiring group that we students could identify. And Professor Gomez was one of those. And we always remember, he said, be a student of the university and not students at the university. Students of the university are those that focus and do what they're supposed to do, and those that are at the university are those that just come in and go. So, as one of my friends will say, if we do not learn from our lives and experiences, other people will learn from it. And I want to welcome you again by ending on that note. Thank you. Sorry. Academics, sometimes, you know, we ignore all those different stuff. I stood here and then I spoke and I forgot to mention one name. Auntie Jukajava. I mean, she's very close to me, that's why I forgot her, because I was sitting next to her. But Auntie Juka is not only a mother, an intellectual mother, but also, I mean, she's very close to us. I mean, she's the board chair of CRPD, and she has been helping us greatly, even though, you know, we are not very, you know, but she's been really there for us, and I want to really honor and acknowledge her. And if we are talking about education in this country, we can talk about Dr. Sajatal, but we cannot also forget about Dr. Antijuka Jabang. I also want to recognize her presence. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys check yourself. Maybe the NAWEC took your live feed. I'm being told they're not seeing you anymore. So the OIC, what happened? There was money for NAWEC. We were expecting electricity would have improved by now. I don't know what happened. Now to the event proper. I am happy to be here, very happy. But it's an event for teachers. And there's one thing that's very known. Teachers and media personalities like myself, when we start talking, we don't stop. So I expected that St. Matthew was going to do a 2-minute, which ended up not just welcoming people, but appreciating everybody. It's not so Gambian to appreciate each other, to talk good about each other. So that's why I'm very excited to be here, because we are celebrating ourselves. But I'm also happy to see a lot of brains here. From Prof. Per there, where's the Prof. Salah? I heard his name, that he's here. And to Dr. Kabir. You see, there's so many brains here, Professor Sen. This kind of gathering is really good. So I hope some organization will also start this kind of gathering that is not a Jaliba Kuyata one, or a Yusindur one, but the intellectual one. There is a section of our community who are not as appreciated as they should be. Teachers. They're not as appreciated. So I'm very excited to call the next speaker, who's spent her entire life not just teaching her children at home, but teaching the kids of the Gambia all over for many decades. Juka Fatou Jabang, we appreciate you, we love you, I love you, even though you prefer the other husband. And she's the chairperson of CRPD board. Fatou Juka Jabang.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillahi minash shaitanir rajim. Sir Chairman, the Tal family, our distinguished keynote speaker, who we're so proud of, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm very pleased to be here this evening to honor Dr. Alif Badr Sajatal's legacy and to celebrate the ongoing relevance of his thoughts, his knowledge, and his insights. He was a child of destiny. He was destined to be a great son of the soil. Undeniably, he was great. He was a great scholar, an organic intellectual of the highest order, and a remarkable public servant. In short, a man of many parts. Our paths first crossed in the Ministry of Tourism in 1987, when, after 11 years in the finance administrative cadre of the Ministry of Finance and Trade, between 1976 and 1987, I was finally posted as Undersecretary to the Ministry of Information and Tourism, at that time situated at the half-day end of Banjul. What used to be Apollo Hotel was rented by the government and used as the locus for the ministry. A few months later, the Chinese-built new administrative block of the quadrangle was completed, and our offices were relocated to that space assigned to our ministry, where the Minister of Tourism presently is, in Nyoko Sancha. We moved over from Apollo to that new office. This was the time when the euphoria of sovereignty and independence from colonial rule was still pervasive, and civil servants concentrated their energies and willpower on nation building and the strong aspiration to contribute their quota in moving our country forward. Saja naturally belonged to this early generation of public servants who placed a great deal of emphasis on accountability, hard work, and outstanding frugality. It was during this period that I was privileged to know him and closely observe him demonstrate strong patriotism and courage of conviction. I found him to be friendly, humble, and very much committed to seeing a progressive and democratic nation. I can also testify that his ardent passion for the promotion of proficiency and productivity in the office earned him the admiration and respect of all the staff at the time. Dr. Tal was very much a results-oriented officer who undertook his official duties and responsibilities with immense analytical perspectiveness and moral authority. He was a good listener who cherished the opinions of others, irrespective of what the other's background was. He was a courageous and fearless public administrator. The second time I had the privilege to work with Dr. Tal was soon after the military takeover in '94, when he was Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education, and I was Director General, Management Development Institute. He played an instrumental role in the evolution of university education in the country. He quickly put together a team of national experts that developed and successfully implemented one of the major flagships of the new rulers at the time, which is the University Extension Program. It was Dr. Tal who initiated the negotiations with our Canadian partners, namely the NSGA and St. Mary's University of Canada, demonstrating commendable maturity, foresight, and professionalism. Together with us, namely the principals of GTTI, Gambia College, and myself as Director General of MDI, and other stakeholders such as PSPMO, Executive Director of the Gambia Chamber of Commerce, etc. With his bold leadership, the foundation of the UEP, which is the forerunner of the current University of the Gambia, was solidly laid. He has left an indelible mark in the basic and higher education, as well as in the tourism sectors. And up to the time of his demise, was a treasured academic, preparing the country's future leaders in the University of the Gambia as an inspirational educator. The reason why Dr. Tal, which is what I'm asked to talk about, will be further complemented by speakers like Sid Mati, who has just spoken before me, and later on by Sata. So they will complement what I'm saying to reinforce the reason why we think he should be honored and celebrated. Let me conclude by saying that he has left an enduring impact on the Gambian intellectual landscape. Also, that Dr. Tal was one of the finest and the brightest civil servants with a captivatingly modest and unassuming character in the history of the Gambia. One with a very high profile in the national consciousness. We can only hope we can only hope that inspired by his example, our generation and the ones behind us will rise in his stead, serving our motherland, with humility and diligence. Finally, Mr. Chairman, let me again congratulate the Tal family. And I would like you to also permit me to express my appreciation to Dr. Satang Dabani for accepting to do us the great honor of accepting our invitation for this historic maiden edition of our public lecture series on an eminent and illustrious brother, colleague, and friend. I thank you very much.
Dr. Aliou Badara Sadia Tall was a renowned Gambian intellectual and senior lecturer in political science at the University of the Gambia. He played a key role in the establishment of UTG, contributing to its strategic planning and curriculum development. Dr. Tall also founded the UTG Student Service Learning Association to encourage students to engage in meaningful community service. He was a beloved figure among students and youth groups, frequently delivering lectures on national development. Dr. Tall mentored many students, youth activists, including the co-founders of CRPD, who passed away. He passed away on April 2nd, 2014, leaving behind a legacy of commitment to education, public service, and community development. While we knew him as an intellectual Hafiz, there's a section of community who called him father, uncle, brother, husband. And as we celebrate him today, we remember those people who've lost a bit more than we did as Gambia. And with this, we'd like to invite his eldest daughter, Olimata Tall, to speak on behalf of Tal Kunda, all of us.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I'd like to start by recognizing the Honorable Minister, Mr. Pierre Gomez, who I'm attending today, and also recognizing Antijuka Jaba. I'm so sorry, I'm very nervous. I'm not much of a public speaker like my father, but bear with me. Today we gather to celebrate a momentous occasion, the launch of the Center for Research and Policy Development, CRPD, an institution dedicating to shaping the future of education and policy in the Gambia. This event holds a special significance as it reflects the enduring impact and legacy of my father, Dr. Sadia Tall, on education and community development in our nation. My father's commitment to public service and his continuous dedication to improving the lives of others has left an incredible mark on everyone he encountered. His legacy is not just remembered by his family, but by the countless students he's mentored, some of whom are present here today and have gone on to make significant contributions around the world. The CRPD aims to inspire the current generation to actively engage in shaping the future of our nation, a commission that is perfectly aligned with my father's lifelong commitment to progress in education and national development. Some of my fondest memories of my father are simply yet profoundly meaningful. Saturday mornings were a special time in our house. Our dad would wake us up to watch Popeye the Sailor Man, teasing us and making playful interactions, or simply watching him and my mom dance to Motown songs in the morning because he never listened to Mbala. These were just small examples of how present and engaged he was as a father and husband. He was kind, humorous, and understanding, down-to-earth, and loving. A true gentleman, a true embodiment of fatherhood. Those moments were filled with warmth affection, capturing the essence of his kind and humorous nature. My father's dedication to the development of the Gambia was ever fulfilling. His passion for public service and his drive to make a difference in our community inspired me and my siblings deeply. He instilled in us the importance of adding value to people's lives and striving for excellence in everything we do. His approach to life was always centered around the question, how do we create Gambian excellence? The CRPD embodies the ideals of my father, championed encouraging individuals and communities to actively participate in shaping the future of the Gambia through informed dialogue and civic engagement. His legacy of commitment to education, public service, and community development lives on through his institution and through all of us who were fortunate enough to know him. He taught us the values of perseverance, honesty, integrity, the importance of giving back to society. He always emphasized the significance of staying true to one's principles and striving to be a person of character. These principles have guided me and my siblings throughout our lives and career, and they continue to inspire me every day. If our family had the chance to see him again, we would tell him how much we love him and miss him. We would thank him for all the wisdom and love he imparted on us, and let him know that his legacy continues to inspire us every day. We would also share how his values and lessons have shaped the people we are today. As we embark on the new journey with the CRPD, let us honor my father's memory by committing ourselves to the ideals he held dearly. Let us strive for excellence, engage in meaningful dialogue, and work tirelessly to build a future for the Gambia. Before I say thank you, I would like to acknowledge who's here, and I should have done that from the beginning. My sincere apologies. Uncle Sal, Auntie Janke, Uncle Sehu, my mother, my sister, and my brother who's not here, Salut Tal, Mama, and everyone who took the time out to be here with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oli. I was dreading that speech, actually, to be honest, because I, having lost a father as well, it can be very emotional sometimes, but you did wonderfully well. Thank you. We'll continue the legacy of Dr. Sajjad Tal by playing a 5-minute video in celebration of his life and what he's done for education in the Gambia. Video lasts about 5 minutes, then we'll go to the lecture proper. Should I say play before you play? Play! Maybe I should have said play the video, play the video, play the video.
Sajjad, I remember him as a very kind, loving, humble, witty, and intellectual person.
Regardless of your race or background, he treated you with respect. He treated everyone equally, whether young or old. He's the type of man that can dine with the kings one day and the next day you will see him, on a tree in Pajara playing, games with the watchmen around the neighborhood.
He didn't care about material things in the world. He couldn't care about material things in the world. He was all about the power of the mind. And as a young person, that I found very, very fascinating.
Sajjad was indeed amazing, inspiring, and not only a teacher, but someone who inspires and also motivates his students. Myself and many other Italians, we are here thanks to Sajjad Tal.
Working with him, engaging with him under a non-democratic setup, and we're talking about democratic and human rights issues, for me were life lessons. But I think for me the most memorable, and many students, was the night that we spent in Basse, and that's where our slogan Basse Before Babylon came from, where we had a bonfire night with him, and where he shared his life experience. And for us, that was, knowing the person.
Sajjad amul morom
I think he was unique. Yep, I'm oyof one. To make a secure king oyof to do the say, Mugesi, I ever just say, I'm telling content to make a mohale, you tell the scholar, be one time, mashallah.
Coming to London, showing up for my 30th birthday, showing up at the door, going for walks in the park, just enlightening me at a very young age. You know, he would talk to me about the 99 names of Allah. He would talk to me about Egyptology, and I'm like, this man, you know, I'm 13, how would I even, you know, but he was just that incredible, always finding a way to teach you a lesson in just the best environment.
Uncle Saja was not only an intellect in the Western sense, but also when it comes to Islam as well. He was very, very well read. He was very religious and very well read. And was very much into Sufism. He was really very, very deep in the spiritual level.
He could come to class without the paper. And then this man will just lecture off head. And the whole class will be interactive throughout the entire session. He's somebody whom we all admired, and he inspired me a lot. I feel like I've spent a lot of time with him, but when I listen to some of his former students, I feel like they know him like they were my father's children. They were brothers. They were friends.
Both the founders of Center for Research and Policy Development were, mentored by Dr. Sajata, me in particular. And I think for us, what we wanted to do was just to, remember our mentor, but remember also a great Gambian that has contributed in both the academic development, but also, the mental upbringing of a lot of young people in this country.
They believed in me at a time when I thought I was too young, and I guess when he believed in me and invested his time, effort, and even resources on me. So the impact he had on me, I think, I would love to be able to have that same impact on many other young people, and that's why I'm in education.
Being a public servant, being a servant to the people is